Hello, MLB Pro Universe. I'm Scott Gesford, your Oakland Athletics GM, and today I'm on with Sam, the Dodgers GM. How are you today, Sam?
Pretty awesome. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm doing great, thank you. But you had a pretty awesome year last year.
I did, yeah. Well, when you win 100 games, it's hard to say that it was anything other than a success, but it's definitely disappointing when you get beat by a team in the playoffs that won 11 fewer games than you, and especially one that's a divisional rival. Of course, we're talking about the Rockies there,
Yeah.
but as far as individual players go, there weren't many disappointments, if any at all. I think stars like Juan Soto and Javier Garcia, right, lived up to expectations, and
Yep.
probably in the case of Garcia, probably exceeded expectations, right? Um, I believe he was probably a top 10 positional player in the National League in 2022. Uh, we had free agent signing Jose Abreu, hit 30 bombs and drove in 99 runs in his first season with the Dodgers. Mainstay Jurickson Profar had a bounce back season and definitely contributed to many victories. And then there were probably like lesser known guys who actually both signed big deals elsewhere this offseason. CJ Hinojosa and Camden Miles also had career years. So, and that's not even talking about the pitching, right? Nathan
Right.
Eovaldi won a Cy Young. And he was actually acquired in the middle of spring training. And overall, I think the pitching was pretty good. I don't have the rankings in front of me, but I remember the staff being near, the top in the league in most categories. Dennis Moore, the closer, had 41 saves. There was a guy named Cedric Flowers. He had a pretty solid year as a swingman. So, and I also got a decent season from Parker Markel. So definitely a successful season, even though we got bounced pretty quickly out of the playoffs.
Well, yeah, you go and have a successful year, and then you add a guy like Danny Holtzen, the American League Cy Young Award winner, to your staff.
Yep. So that was probably the top priority, right? To get him in free agency, and made sure to put a competitive offer out there pretty quick. And just had one round of competition with the Athletics, and was able to land him after that. And so he'll be joining what Evaldi. You got Cedric Flowers. You got Steve White still, knuckleballer Steve White, and you also got Joe Musgrove, who was acquired from the Padres this past July. And so that rotation is going to be it's going to have a different look for sure, as we're now without Kozar and Markel, who had been in Dodger blue for years, right? Ever since I've been the GM. But I believe that will probably be the strength of ours is the rotation. Yep.
Yeah. So, how do you see the bullpen playing out? Do you like your bullpen? Are you looking to get more arms?
Yeah, I may acquire some depth, but I think for the most part it's pretty set. I think so Dennis Moore will be coming back as our closer. Setup, maybe a kind of revolving door of guys, but probably we'll start out with Tyler Glasnow and Carson Fulmer in that role. We did sign reliever Tyler Green, who could as well be in that role. Um, and then there'll be like more obscure guys rounding out the rest of the bullpen. Names like Andrew Moosh. I'm not sure anyone's heard of these folks, but they actually contributed a lot last year. George Bellew was a fella. Robin Townsley, Carl Deere, all these guys contributed last year. So I think that we're definitely going to have them again in the bullpen. And as I said, we may be picking up another veteran or two as kind of a stopgap, because a lot of those guys I just mentioned, that was kind of their first year in the big leagues, first breakout season. So want to guard against any setback or reversion, right?
Yeah, right. And hey, they can be stashed at AAA for another year or two, right?
Yep, most of
bounce
them
back
have
and forth
options.
as needed.
Yep.
So your pitching looks really good. And well, looking at your hitters, you have a pretty good solid lineup too. Would you like to go through your lineup and at each position and who's going to start
Sure.
where? And
Yep. So Kurt Franklin was the leadoff guy last year, and he's going to be leading off again this year. He's going to be playing center field. So I always like having my best hitter second. So that's going to be Juan Soto in that spot, and he'll be out and right. Javi Garcia is going to be batting third and playing third. Jerry McDonald, a young catcher, young up and coming catcher, he's going to be batting fourth. Jose Abreu is going to be coming back, batting fifth at first base. And then next we get off-season addition from the Royals, Alex Kirilloff, 25-year-old left fielder. Hasn't really had a full season in the big leagues where he's performed, but I think he's about to break out. And so we're willing to deal our top prospect. It was a pitcher by the name of Mateo Rodriguez. He was 19. I think he's going to be a star. But I think what we were prioritizing there was 2023, and we were willing to give up Rodriguez there because of that. And then where are we? Seventh? I think Jerks and
Yep.
Profar is coming back. Mainstay in the lineup. He's going to be playing second. Eighth, I think, is going to be designated hitter Chris Fletcher. And this will actually be his second stint with us. He was a free agent signing, but he did have a stint with us between like maybe 2019 and 2021, somewhere in there.
Mhm.
And then ninth is going to be Andrelton Simmons, who I acquired from the Pirates, I believe, last July. He's in there for his glove, but there should be at least somewhat of a bounce back this year with the bat. So that's all.
Yeah, well, and if Juan Soto ever figures it out, no, he's. I still think he has a lot more potential in him than his bat. I mean, he batted 252. I mean, I don't see why he's not going to bat 280.
Yeah, I think there's another level there, and if he hits it, well, everybody should watch out. And
Well,
all of baseball, even the American League GMs.
well, in a couple of years when you can't afford him anymore.
No, we're the Dodgers. We're going to be able to afford him.
Yeah, exactly. So, how do you think the DH is going to help the Dodgers, or is it going to help the Dodgers this year?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't think it's going to help us. I mean, I definitely prefer it, just because we don't have control over the in-game decisions, like for pinch hitting and stuff. So there's going to be none of those decisions anymore. So other than that, it's just everybody's going to have the DH now. So I don't think it's going to be any kind of competitive advantage or anything, obviously. So
Yeah, I always
yeah,
thought the DH was. I mean, I always thought the pitcher hitting was an advantage for the National League when we came to the World Series, but it didn't seem to play out that way.
No. The National League's never won a World Series, as everybody knows.
Yes, and I've heard some other people that I've already talked to, and that's the National League GM so far has had one goal, and that is somebody in the National League wins the World Series. They don't even care if it's them, just somebody.
Yeah, and the best bet is probably going to be Arizona. So we're going to be pulling for Arizona, even though they're a divisional rival. It's either going to be me or them. Not really.
Well, Atlanta's pretty good too.
Yeah. There's a lot of. I think there's a few contenders, right? They're just going to have to go up against a club like the Angels and Astros, Blue Jays. That's gonna be a tough matchup for any NL team. So
yeah, like I said, you just have to get there to have a chance.
Yeah.
Do you see any prospects coming up to the majors this year and making a big difference for you?
Yeah, I don't know about a big difference, but there's a guy I actually claimed on waivers. He's 24. His name is Colton Duncan, and I think he was claimed from the Cardinals. He's still a prospect, and I like the bat quite a bit. So he's a switch hitting outfielder. And then I have Mike Ciani, another outfielder who actually got a cup of coffee last year, and I made the most of it. So I think he'll break spring training with the club as a bench bat at the very least, and then he'll fill in. He'll probably be the first guy to start if there's ever an injury. Jeremiah Jackson is another guy. He's a top shortstop prospect and can contribute again in the event there's an injury in the middle infield, or if Simmons underperforms. And then the same goes for a guy named Will Wilson, and he's an infielder at AAA. And then our number one prospect, starting pitcher Jonathan Stanton. He can make an impact late in the year, though he hasn't pitched above AA. So we'll see about that. He's going to have to stand out in AAA in order to earn a call up, or he'll get called up in the event we're ravaged by injuries, right? So I think
Right.
those are about five guys, and there's definitely going to be more than 26 players playing for the Dodgers this year. So I definitely anticipate them getting some playing time.
Okay. And so continue on with your minor league system. You seem to be pretty aggressive when you promote people from one level to the next. Is that typical for you, or do you normally do one level a year?
Well, what I do is I ensure that the player has mastered the level. So I wouldn't promote a guy until he's shown that he's mastered the level, right? I'm not gonna promote somebody just because my scouts may like him, even though he's never performed. That's pretty much the thinking when promoting prospects.
Okay. So where do you see the Dodgers being in 2023 with the key additions you've already talked about?
Well, I think, yeah, with the moves we've made this offseason, our direction is clear, I think, and it's that we're kind of all in to win a title. And so the expectation is to win around 95 games or so, and be competitive against the Diamondbacks, for an NL West division title. And I believe, though, you can't necessarily count out the Rockies either. They have a strong top two in their rotation,
Mhm.
which I think may be a particular competitive advantage out there. And then, when it comes to particular players, I think as we discussed, I think there's more to be unlocked with guys like Juan Soto and Jerry McDonald, the catcher. And so if they do reach that level, I think we'll be well on our way to the playoffs.
Yeah. So once you get to the playoffs, the expectation is to go win it all, right?
Yeah, we're going to be all in, and I think we have the club to compete with the Diamondbacks. I think we would have been quite competitive in a divisional series last year if we got past the Rockies. I think we would have been pretty competitive. I think last year, we actually had a winning record against the Diamondbacks, in the during the regular season. So, and that's going to be the top opponent. So it seems to me that we're well positioned to make a run. We're capable, at least, right?
Right. Exactly. So
Yeah.
you made a big jump last year. I think you went up 20 wins from the year before. Detroit went up 24 wins from the year before. Do you
Yeah.
see a team in 2023 that can make that jump from like maybe a bottom tier or mid tier up?
Hmm. Well, the first one that comes to mind, and I didn't necessarily do a lot of research in advance, but I think the first one that comes to mind is the Rays. Um, from what I remember, they actually, I think, were 500 last year or better, and probably average age was maybe 25 or 6. And I think they still have one of the top systems. So they may be able to make a 15 to 20 win jump. I mean, it's a tough division, so maybe not. I know the Orioles already took that jump. I'm just trying to go through all the divisions, right?
Yeah.
NL East, who do we got? I don't know about the Marlins. Nationals. I did the Nationals make the playoffs? I'm not sure. But if they
I
didn't,
think they made the playoffs or they just missed it. I can't remember. I'm trying to look up right now.
yeah.
Washington, they went 85 to 78 and just missed the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if I think they're kind of maybe a middling team. I mean, in the middle, I think they'll be a contender. So I don't know if there's going to be a big jump there. What about the NL Central? I mean, oh yeah, the Reds. Yep, I think they could probably be a candidate to have the biggest jump in their win total for sure. Definitely like the
They went
team.
from they had 84 wins last year.
Yep. So I think they could probably win another 10 or so. I mean, I actually didn't. I actually was surprised. I am surprised by the fact that they won 84. I thought it was a little lower. So, but yep.
Yeah.
So, and I think the team that will probably take the biggest loss, maybe the Mariners, having lost Danny Holtzen to the Dodgers.
and appeal. They
Yeah.
lost both of them.
Yeah.
So we can being an AL West guy, I can only hope that's
Yeah.
that's the case. I hope the Angels take a step back too, but
Yep. And I forgot about the Athletics too. I think probably
I
you're well positioned to take a big jump.
think my biggest advantage this year is the balanced schedule where I don't have to play as many
Yep.
games within the division. And that might help you too. Not have to
Yep.
play Arizona and Colorado so much.
Yeah, I think I would definitely prefer to be playing teams like the Cubs more often.
Yeah, exactly. We won't let Jabs hear that part of it, right?
I'm not sure he's gonna last this long into the podcast.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Uh, so if you had to make one big bold prediction for 2023, doesn't have to be about the Dodgers, it could be about any player or any team.
Hmm.
What kind of bold prediction would you make?
Well, I think what most people are gonna say here is that the NL is gonna win the World Series. So that's gonna be mine.
That's gonna be yours. I don't blame you. Coming from Cincinnati, I still have that
Mhm.
NL blood running through my veins, so
Yep.
I
And I
came
will.
close. But
Yep, you did. I remember that. 2017, right?
yep, exactly.
But
So,
I think it will be the Diamondbacks. Yeah.
well, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see once you guys all get to the playoffs who
Yeah.
separates themselves.
Yeah,
So,
I
what
think the
is your
best one.
philosophy on spending your budget on player development and scouting and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, if there's the money there, I would definitely like to max out on player development. And since it's adjustable, you know, I don't want to lock it in early in the off season. Um,
Mhm.
so if it happen, if I really want a guy in free agency, like late in free agency, which is like right now, like I'm about out of money to spend in free agency, so I could go in there and lower the player development budget
Right.
and be able to afford a guy. So, but I start out the off season, with whatever it is, 30, 6 million or whatever for player development. I
So,
think that's the
mhm.
max. And then it's flexible from there. Right now, I think mine's at 30. That's insider info, but it's
Mhm.
confidential info, but it's 30.
Well,
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of people are discovering how important it is to put money in the development part of it.
yeah. So I don't, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen much data on it. So, but I think anecdotally, I think it's the case, right? That helps out quite a bit.
Right. Yep. Okay. Well, is there anything you want to talk about that maybe I haven't talked about yet about the Dodgers?
About the Dodgers, just that I anticipate winning a lot of games this year. Um, and I think we talked about the roster and how I expect that to happen. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. So
Well, do you want to throw some trash talk out there? Maybe get some bulletin board material for somebody else. I mean, you already threw a
Oh yeah,
jab of jabs, so
yeah. Yeah, well, longtime Dodger Jarrett Kozart the other day betrayed us and went to San Francisco. So I don't wish him well nor San Francisco well because of that.
well, in real life, they're the arch enemies, right?
Yep. But
Dodgers
in
and
this league,
Giants.
my main rival is probably the Diamondbacks. I don't really take jabs though at the Diamondbacks much. I mean, I'm not sure I've actually taken jabs a lot at many squads, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna start a rivalry with the Diamondbacks this year.
Oh, there you go. You gotta have one, right? Makes it more fun.
Oh, actually, I think actually there was some exchanged with the Rockies before we had the matchup in the playoffs.
Ah,
So
they have a pretty good squad too. So your division, the West divisions, I think, are pretty stacked at the top.
yep, no doubt. And maybe you see something from the Padres, although their roster I think is clearly inferior to the top NL West clubs. You also
Mhm.
have the Giants, and with Hines out there managing, I think they're always going to have a competitive team since he's quite active. Like that's the key. That's one of the keys I think I've noticed to basically competitiveness is activity, right? Like you can pull together a pretty decent team, right? If you're just in free agency and then if you're diligent in trades and all that. And I think he's that way, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they win
Yeah,
85 games.
that is a pretty bold statement considering what did he do last year? I mean, they weren't nearly that good last year, were they?
Were they? Yeah, I don't know how bad. So I may have just predicted them to have the biggest jump.
So yeah, you might have. Let me see. San Francisco last year had 61 wins.
Oh man. It's okay. I'm gonna take that back then. I'm gonna
And
say
he's
maybe 80 wins. I mean, he's quite active, and I think it could be a pretty quick turnaround out there. So
yeah, he's starting to build from the ground up, which is where he likes to do. So,
yeah.
okay, is there anything else you want to add about another team?
Oh man. No, I think I'll just leave the trash talk to the NL West squads.
Leave the trash talk for later, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Get
already
to the
bashed.
playoffs first before you trash
Yeah,
talk.
and I already bashed the Cubs. So
Well, I've heard worse on this doing this, so yeah,
I'm
not
looking
bad.
forward to it. Hearing some of
So
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
so here's what I like to do at the very end. I'd
Hmm.
like to get you to like maybe introduce yourself, tell people what you do for a living, and
Sure.
then are you looking to trade somebody or are you looking to acquire something? Get the word out there so people will start hitting you up.
Sure. Well, I am a data analyst for an auto parts company, and I've actually only been in the field about 6 months. And I'm originally from Southern Indiana, a town near Evansville, Indiana, if anybody's heard of it. But now I moved to Nashville, right? And
Oh,
that's been great. It's been a great experience being here.
so I was born
Um,
in Lafayette, Indiana.
Lafayette, Indiana.
Yep.
Yep.
And our old Miami Marlins GM is from right outside of Nashville.
Oh yeah,
I was
I think you all had like you maybe met up once. I remember that
yeah,
from the chat.
yeah, we did. I was going to Nashville for something and he and I had breakfast together. So it
Yeah,
worked out. So
yeah, but that's a
awesome.
little
So
bit.
is there something you're looking for in trade or
Oh
you
yeah.
looking to trade something away to get some interest going?
No, it's I don't I would probably be looking to buy. So I think for now though in the off season the moves are done. I don't think there's anything, when it comes to my team. And I noticed this off season the trades have been pretty, non-existent as a
Mhm.
league. Don't know if that's like a one-off thing or it's just how the market shaped up or I don't know. But I don't, as far as the Dodgers, I don't see any more trades going into 2023, but certainly we'll be looking to buy come the deadline. If we're in contention, which I expect.
So what you're saying is that some team should buy these free agents at a pretty decent price and then trade them off at the deadline.
Yep. No, I love the 1 year deals for teams that are rebuilding and then getting value at the trade deadline. I really
Yeah.
love that approach. I haven't really seen it much on display in this league. Maybe a few times with a few GMs. I think San Francisco, right? Their GM did that. But yeah, I want to see as many trades as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
By Trader Scott. So that's always good. So
Yeah.
great. So I think
Cool.
we're kind of at a wrapping point here, unless you got something
Mhm.
else you want to talk about.
Nope, I think that's it for me. It was a blast being on here.
All right. I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna stop the recording and I'll stay on and chat with you for just a minute.
Okay, sounds good.
Here we
Have a good
go.
day, everybody.
You too.